Hi, my name is Gavin Arnold. This is going to be my first video that I'm going to attempt to edit, and we'll see how that goes. This is a Yamaha Phazer. It's a 2-cylinder, 2-stroke. It's a 485cc. It came off of a Yamaha Phazer that I used to have and decided it needed to be on something else. It was actually on a small mini bike chopper frame, which I decided that frame didn't need to be doing 80 miles an hour. So I decided to take it apart, which I have clips of, and I'm gonna attempt to put it somewhere in this video. I have no idea what brand frame this is. It is some kind of adult racing go-kart frame, and I picked it up probably a year ago, and I'm finally doing something with it. It already has brakes that are hydraulic setup. There was a brand new setup. Aside from that, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be coming off of it for our intents and purposes, so we're going to be doing that today. Like this cooler and shifter. We aren't going to need a couple other random things. It's not going to be going on today because there's going to be a lot of R&D. But today I do plan on making it a roller. I've got a go-kart over here that has some hubs that I'm going to borrow until I can order some for this. I'll be getting those on, as well as going through and hanging this motor above where roughly I want the motor to go, so that I can take some measurements and get an idea as to how I'm going to be mounting my jack shaft and my driven pulley, as well as spacing for the belt and whatnot. Maybe drawing out a small diagram of what I've got in my head, but it's mostly gonna be me winging it because that's how I build. All right, now we're gonna start pulling some parts off of it. Don't mind the go-kart lift, it's professional. So this is just resting here, which we're actually gonna use, but I am gonna leave it there. Not that that's important. I'm gonna start with the shifter. There's Allen keys, which I do have on the ground over there already. The shifter I obviously won't be needing because the snowmobile engine works off of a CVT. Alright, that's going to be just about everything on this phase. There wasn't a whole lot to be taken off, because that's about it. And the next phase is going to be putting knuckles on this so that we have a roller. Then I'll get it set back down. I'll get those knuckles pulled off, and then I'll get to putting them on here. The hubs that I had that I thought were gonna fit the front are actually tapered. They're for a tapered shaft on that go-kart. So I'll have to get some ordered as far as it goes on this go-kart. So we're gonna be skipping that step for the day. which is entirely fine. The next step is going to be to hang the motor, take a look at what spacing it's going to have, as well as what my plan is for mounting. Now we're down on a lower angle. We're going to get this motor hoisted up and get it mounted up, or held up as far as where we think it's going to go. All right, we're gonna switch gears now. The go-kart is pretty much in a state where it's good to go, but this is a crucial, like a very crucial moment or part of this whole thing, which is putting the driven in the right alignment with the driver pulley on the motor so that it has no wobble or issue as far as that goes. There's a little bit of work that this bearing needs right here. The bearing itself is fine, but the holder needs a little bit of work. So what I've been doing is brainstorming how I wanted to mount this on a separate jack shaft on the go-kart. Well, I decided that it would be a lot easier if this was all one package and I was just putting it straight onto the cart. This is why I called it winging it. It's because stuff like this happens regularly. So, what's gonna happen here is I'm gonna be building extensions off of these 2 feet, right here and right here, which are actually the motor mounts, the front 2 motor mounts. There's 1 in the rear, and then there's 2 in the front here, these 2. Those are gonna have an extension of sorts. And I'm going to be attaching this permanently to the engine. Well, semi-permanently. It could be taken off. And then after it's connected to the engine and all lined out, this can be mounted to the go-kart quite a bit easier. So that's the plan. Now you'll see the trial and error of how I'm gonna make it work. So that ended up working out considerably better than I expected. Lift it up here a little bit. There's certainly things that will need adjusted in the future. But as far as trial and error, it took this try, and I think it's going to work pretty good. All right, today went pretty well. It went better than I had originally expected. Got this all bolted up, which this will definitely help as far as getting the engine mounted into the chassis of the go-kart, so it's pretty good progress. Yeah, if you'd like to join on this journey, please like and subscribe and all of that fancy stuff. Obviously this is going to be pretty rusty, and it will be getting better because of my editing skills. This is going to be my first video I've ever edited, and secondly, I need to find my voice. I don't really have one yet, but I will. Everything comes in time. I also do game streams on Twitch, if you're interested in that. I do a lot of DayZ streaming and whatnot. Mostly DayZ streaming, but sometimes other games. If you're interested in that, I'll have a link in the description, as well as it's the Ketchup Juicer with underscores as well. Yeah, if you have any criticisms of any kind, let me know. I am always happy to hear them. I'm obviously growing, and I appreciate you for joining me. Thank you. Have a good one.